Also, abwerezanso my point. Please, Papeti abwera uyu mnyamata naye nizampelekeza kuzalembesa manomination. Ndiye siku mimi nizatenga na permit kuti kacheze pano nizaletanso na uniform na uvala polisi ikalibobwera PF. Kuti aone kuti apanga kuti ankaena azioneka kuti ni wa polisi ndisa PF.
The Musanzara Council Chairperson and Kaumbwe parliamentary by-elections takes place on 21st October 2021, and arguably their outcome will be a reflection of how the Patriotic Front is settling in the opposition. Reporting for MUVI TV News, I'm Afias Kaptula, Petauke, Eastern Province.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has returned from his first international trip with an assurance that better things are coming. Speaking on arrival at Lusaka's Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, optimistic President Hakainde Hichilema announces that Zambians will soon begin to enjoy the benefits of his recent trip to New York, which will include the reduction in the cost of prices of essential commodities. Mr. Hichilema says the country's development is also dependent on the international trips a head of state undertakes to benefit the majority Zambians. He says while in New York, he managed to lay a solid foundation centered on the country's development in various sectors of the economy. Meanwhile, the head of state has maintained that his government will be professional in the fight against corruption to avoid making further mistakes. And President Hichilema says his trip should not be reduced to the International Monetary Fund package because the trip represented the broader interests of Zambians. Mr. Hichilema said the trip has generated enough goodwill and energy for the United Party for National Development UPND administration to deliver its agenda for the country, and results will soon show.
The arrival of Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema from New York, where he has been in the last 5 days, focusing on various multilateral and bilateral ties with world leaders. In New York, the President delivered his maiden speech at the United General Assembly. He held meetings with World Bank leaders as well as faces of the International Monetary Fund's IMF. Upon his arrival, the head of state gave a summary of his trip.
Very, very good. We have generated electricity, we have generated goodwill, and we want to exploit this goodwill to the best of our abilities to benefit the people of Zambia. I emphasize, whatever we do, you will see this tradition. Wherever we go, whatever we do is for the people of Zambia. You will see credibility returning to Zambia once again. And we said so before we took office, before these people put us in office, that we will raise the bar. We're just beginning. You will see how we perform.
Mr. Hichilema has further assured Zambians that his trip to America was not a mere expenditure of national resources. On the issue of corruption, the head of state has maintained that government will handle the issue with care to avoid making further mistakes.
It's the interests. It is more than the IMF. We shouldn't reduce it to the IMF. It is representing the broader interest of the people of Zambia. And I believe we did that effectively. And Zambians are yet to see the benefits, and they will see those benefits very soon. The key is that we must reconstruct the economy. And unless we reconstruct the economy, we cannot create jobs. We cannot support health, we cannot support education. So economic reconstruction is number one, and we set this agenda. We will not waver around it. We will stay focused. We know that's where the benefits are. We understand the anxiety Zambians have because a lot of their resources were taken away from them. Our intent is very clear that we will be civil about it, we will be legal about it. We will not use a political hammer. We will allow the institutions, oversight institutions, who are mandated legally to deal with corruption. They will deal with corruption. We expect them to do it professionally. The Zambians want them to do what they are paid for to do. We will give them the political will, and they will get that will. Make no mistake about it.
According to him, a strong foundation has been laid for Zambia's prosperity under his New Dawn administration. For now, Zambians are more than anxious to compare and contrast his trips and those made by the past administrations. Innocent P reporting for MUVI TV News.
Attempting to replace their green national registration cards, NRCs, are being forced to part away with a total sum of 100 kwacha to have it done at lightning speed. Revelations into an investigation by MUVI TV news crew found that the registration office on a daily basis has a fixed number that they are supposed to attend to, but after the 100 kwacha is paid, the number escalates and many are allowed to obtain the said document. This comes after several pronouncements by the head of state for a zero corrupt Zambia, but the call seems to be falling on deaf ears.
I'm 100 kwacha. In my interviews, first thing was Zakamba, NRC number Makamba, village Makamba, Chief Makamba, district Makamba, date of birth Makamba. You remember when this is first?
Some civil servants working under the National Registration Card Office at Lusaka, Boma, are enriching themselves with the minimum amount of 100 kwachas collected to some individuals who want to replace their green national registration cards, on pretext that the process of acquiring it will be done much faster. Revelations into the investigation by this MUVI TV reporter confirms the whole ordeal.
I'm 100 kwacha. In my interviews, first thing was Zakamba, NRC number Makamba, village Makamba, Chief Makamba, district Makamba, date of birth Makamba. You remember when this is first?
Some people talked to during the waiting session at the NRC office Monday morning say on a normal working day, more than 100 people queue up for the replacement process, but one wonders how much these civil servants walk out with every working day. Now, the New Dawn leader, President Hakainde Hichilema, has repeatedly pronounced that his government will not tolerate corruption nor bribery, but the 2 months he's been in office, nothing much seems to be done differently. For now, till when relevant authorities intervene, the officers at the National Registration Card will continue collecting money from the people trying to acquire what's rightfully a right. Liambela Mutumba, MUVI TV News in Lusaka.
Now, good governance and human rights activist for Africa and Amnesty International country coordinator Sikaile has expressed concern by the behavior of the former ruling party for continuing undermining the UPND administration. Mr. Sikaile says he is appealing to President Hichilema to fire all those who were appointed by the PF, saying failure to do so will be political suicide for him and his party. He was speaking in an interview with MUVI TV News.
We know why PF are coming out like this. It's because they know that some of their surrogates, they are still in these institutions, including those from Parastatal. They are there to frustrate you. PF is busy cleaning the mess that they committed. This is why everything that PF is doing today, they feel like they are still in the government. Clean these institutions if you want to deliver to the people of Zambia. Otherwise, PF, they are determined to make sure that they see you failing. Including those from Parastatal. They are there to frustrate you. PF is busy cleaning the mess that they committed. This is why everything that PF is doing today, they feel like they are still in the government. clean these institutions if you want to deliver to the people of Zambia. Otherwise, PF, they are determined to make sure that they see you failing. That's their mission. So we are calling upon the UPND leadership to be very proactive. You can't allow the president to be insulted. Let the president be criticized, but on reasonable things. We have seen PF insulting the president. That President Hakainde Hichilema went to USA to go and campaign for gay rights. We expect the police to move in so that Mr. Given Rwinda produces that evidence. We don't stop anybody. We don't stop any concerned citizen criticizing the president, criticizing anyone who holds a public office.
UPND government prepares to enter the second month in power. There are signs of growing frustrations within the file and rank of the governing political party. The youths, women and ordinary citizens are concerned at the slow pace of transition by the ruling party to rid government institutions of PF-aligned individuals that still occupy the rank and file of government. Ruling UPND party Lusaka province chairperson Obvious Mwaliteta makes the observation. Mr. Mwaliteta cites the failure by the police to deal with outstanding cases largely instigated by the Patriotic Front PF administration. He warns that the Ministry of Home Affairs is naturally political in its execution of duty and that those responsible should act on outstanding cases. Mr. Mwaliteta's frustration is being viewed as representing a growing anger by citizens whose motivation to turn out to vote in large numbers was caused by the PF corruption, intolerance, violence and tribalism. He poured out his frustration on Sunday's edition of the assignment program. Meanwhile, the former Kafue lawmaker has petitioned the police command in Lusaka to investigate the killings that happened under the PF regime. He wants the Lusaka province police to immediately institute investigations into crimes committed during the PF tenure. Among the people who are alleged to have been murdered are Lawrence Banda, Sydney Monga, a 17-year-old pupil of Kanyama, and Nsamansama.
Zambians. Right. These cases have not happened yesterday. If killing Mapens was killed last week, I was going to tell you that let's give them a chance to investigate. We are talking about Mapens who was killed in 2016. We are talking about Lawrence Banda who was killed in a by-election in Ikahoma. You understand? So what time do they need for them to investigate? Because we are talking about 2 years down the line. When was the system? Listen. No.
Altogether.
Yes,
it's a new system.
Which new system? Look,
the police service is new. We've got a new Home Affairs Minister as we speak right now. But the new IG, the deputies, all these are new. Why can't you give them offices as well?
No, the offices where these people are, they just inherited everything which is there. The best they can do is to call their junior officers. Where this issue? Where are you? Or where are we on this issue of Mapens? Where are we on this issue? Where are you on this issue of Lawrence Banda? Simple as that. But if we are going to talk about governance, that is different.
It's the same.
Governance issue. Listen, we are talking about.
I know you know better. You've been in government.
Yeah, of course, but look.
But in terms of, I think the statement, there's some kind of contradiction.
No, I'm talking about. We're not going to give them time because this crimes happened 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm telling them that we just won elections now, and our mandate is 5 years. So you cannot question us about free education.
Or you can't announce to say possibly we're going to announce, to implement the free education in the next maybe 3 years.
But look,
just a statement.
No, look, our mandate is 5 years. So whether we give our people free education next year, it is what we said. Whether we give them a 4th year, is what we promised the people. We are within our mandate. But on the people who killed our cadres, our friends, our relatives, these people died some years back. I'll tell you why you thought there was a contradiction here. the issue of free education is the government we have taken over. Yeah. But the issue of crime which was committed, that was it happened, and we reported to the police at that time, and the police level, the files even today. They have the dockets. We have reported so many dockets which the police have looked at, so they should tell us.
Don't you think you are putting pressure on the new IG, Mr. Kajoba?
No, we are not putting.
Because all these this pressure you amount, I think you are putting, it stops at him, because he's the main man who should ensure that he goes and orders his officers to begin to investigate. And some of the issues that he doesn't even understand, he doesn't know. It's an innocent person.
But we can help him if he wants to be helped. If he wants, I can tell you that Lawrence Banda was killed. Mombipili says he saw the
Milenge Trade College has abandoned the works due to unknown reasons. The structure, which is partially vandalized, has remained unattended to for more than 9 years now. This came to light when the newly elected Member of Parliament, Chonde Saka, visited the site on a fact-finding mission. Efforts to get comment from the new Minister of Education proved futile by broadcast time. Mr. Saka has promised the people in his constituency that he will follow up the matter with the relevant ministry.
So, in among area member of parliament from Milenge, I'm calling on government to lift the export of milling and maize. They must lift the ban, so that millers or any other trader, they'll be able to export the milling and they'll come back to you and buy the commodity. At the moment, the whole supply chain of maize and milling it's got its own challenges. Plenty of it I've mentioned from time and time again. But that's not the end of the road. What is the remedy? The remedy is to lift the export ban. Once they lift the export ban, my honest view and opinion is that the millers who then export the maize, they will create the space. Because at the moment, from my findings, FRI is choked. It's choked. There's oversupply. We need to look for alternative market. We feel there's enough market outside in the DRC upper. So we're calling on government to lift the export of milling, the ban on export of milling. They must lift it.
Ndesho kulanda pamulandu waba FRA. Ba FRA bala tushita mataba. Nomba this year mwala sangu kutila amataba na tukwata mataba yengi sana. Nomba ya mataba this time mwala sangu kutila amasaka na ya shota, but abantu na batula ikapama satellites. Then mwala sangu kutila akasuba na kocha sana amasaka yo abantu balebi ikamu. Andi amataba ya tampoko na ika. Andi na mwala sangu kutena tayale kota na weti yo. Nomba mwala sangu kwebati umuntu ali kwete amataba ayo alenekero kwebati kuti akwata mulu pia ulwa kwebati lwa mwafu apa katika kabwika shibwakwe amataba ya tampoko na ika. So inokulanda kwandikwa kumuno kutila tulelira kuli ba MUP limbi ba FRA kuti bachinja government yachinja ukumuno kutila baisula market ifu ile okumuno kutila amataba tu atampa okita okulatwala ku kunchende shimbi even ku Kongo kuti twashitisha amataba